Okay, so imagine this. Piercing your body 1,016 times in under 10 hours, having the hiccups for 68 years, or pulling 907 pounds with just your eye sockets. These things all have one thing in common. They're all in the Guinness Book of World Records. This book has been around for half of a century. It's home to the longest, the fastest, and strongest records. If anything that you might have an interest in, sports records, music records, or even the craziest thing you can imagine, this book holds it. So let's look at the history of this book. On May 4th, 1951, Sir Hugh Beaver, a managing director of Guinness Breweries at the time, went to a shooting party in North Ireland with his friends. During this time, they got into an argument over what was the fastest game bird, the grouse, or the caution, or the grouse. They couldn't find an answer, and they had no source of finding an answer for this record. So, with the help of twins Norris and Ross McWhirter, he created the Book of World Records. The first edition was 197 pages long, and it was released on August 27, 1951, 4 years after the argument first ensued. It climbed to the top of UK bestsellers list automatically, and the demand was so high that they released 3 more editions within that first year. Still today, a new edition is released every October, and over 3 million copies are sold per year. So let's look at the changes the book has made and the controversy that's ensued over this. It has sold over 120 million copies every year in 37 different languages. There's been some things that they've banned since the original 1955 edition, it's anything that the editors think that cannot be duplicated or might only be a one-time event. So these things have been banned. It can only be included into the Guinness Book of World Records with a written application to them in order to break a record. They are due to safety and ethical concerns that some have been discontinued, such as things like eating and drinking. In 1991 is when they originally started this, that they would discontinue any eating and drinking records because of the potential hazard it has on a person. They removed any alcoholic beverages and unusual things that people would eat, like bikes or trees. The records that have been dropped have also been brought back, such as the speed beer drinking record, which was taken out in 1991, was reinstalled in 2008. It was moved from the human achievement record to the modern society record. So such things can also be brought back. The Guinness Book of World Records isn't just a book anymore. Since 1955, it's moved into having its own TV show, to having special editions, to having a National Guinness Book of World Record Day, which is November 9th. And it encourages its readers to break the records every year. Let's talk about some of the greatest and strangest records that this book holds. The book holds record for having the most records. That's Ashrita Furman, a health food store owner with over 300 records held. So him holding the most records makes it 301. He's done this since 1971. He has such records as the fastest mile on a kangaroo ball on the Great Wall of China, the longest time underwater juggling, and 12-mile length of Paul Revere's Massachusetts ride in just the forward rolls. So he went the whole 12 miles forward rolling over himself for 12 miles. That's insane. Some of these records aren't just about athletics or something that you can achieve. It's mostly about genetics. Take the tallest man, Sultan Kosin, who's 8 feet 3 inches tall, and the woman with the longest legs, Svitlana Pankrotova, who has 4 feet 4 inches leg span. Also, as we have moved into a newer way of living, such as with computers and social media, we also have now the fastest person to reach over 1 million followers on Twitter. You may have heard of him. It's Charlie Sheen. He has kind of a bad record, but he's one that has reached over 1 million followers on Twitter alone. Some of these are also a pricier kind of record, such as Troy Pomaloma of the Steelers. His hair is insured for $1 million. And the man and woman with a combined almost 30 feet of fingernails. And the Guinness Book of World Records also holds its very own record for having the most books stolen out of libraries. The progression of this book has altered from a book that went from being an idea about the fastest bird to a measure of how you fit into the world with all these world record holders. It makes us think of our abilities and what we can do. It's come a long way from Beaver's first inquiry to even stranger records added every year. And if you're still stuck on Beaver's first question, the fastest bird is the gray-headed albatross, which can go up to 79 miles per hour. Now you know.